This is an update video on my Canyon Ultimate CF Evo. The Evo is their super light frame set. About a year ago I made a video, and at that time I had the SRAM Red E-TAP, and I just recently upgraded my bike to the SRAM AXS 12-speed. I also upgraded my brakes to these Letke 8 zero gravity brakes, and I thought I'd go ahead and talk about both of these upgrades. At the end of this video, I'm going to go ahead and weigh the bike, and we'll see how it weighs different compared to my previous bike. The previous SRAM Red E-TAP was awesome. I really loved it. I had absolutely no problems with it over the last year. The alignment of the chain on the gears remained perfect the whole year. Nothing had to be adjusted. There was really nothing wrong with it. It was perfect. Probably the only thing that I had to change now and then was the rear cassette. If I was going to do some steep climbing, I would put on a climbing cassette. And if I was going to ride in the flatlands, I would run a more of a straight block. And that was one small inconvenience that had nothing to do with the SRAM E-TAP. It's just the inconvenience of having 11 speed. They came out with this 12 speed, and I thought I should take a look at it. After doing some research, I decided to go ahead with this 12 speed, as I saw a lot of improvements over the previous SRAM. One of the big changes now is I don't have to change cassettes. I have the 4633 front ring, which would be like a compact crank, and then I have a 1028 in the back. So basically I have a straight block all the way up to gear 17, and then I have climbing gears after that. So basically I have a very good range of gears, and I also have a lot of gears in the middle so that I don't have big jumps between the gears. That's a huge advantage. I won't need to have to change rear cassettes anymore. In terms of looks, I think the new group looks really nice. I really love the way the new crank looks with the black and silver, and I also love the way they incorporated the power meter into the crank. By doing that, they were able to reduce the weight of the crank plus the power meter. My previous Red E-TAP with the power meter weighs more than this crank with the power meter, and it's a much cleaner look. Here's a close-up of the crank with the power meter. Really clean looking system. One thing I forgot to mention is my blips that I had under the handlebars from the old system work with the new AXS system. My Wahoo Element bolt works with the new 12 speed, and as you can see here, it shows you all 12 gears, and it shows you which gear you're in. Very cool. Let's go ahead and talk about the performance of the new system. I'm going to say that it does shift slightly faster. Not a big difference, but I think there is a slight difference there. One thing that you may not be aware of, the drivetrain sound is less. This is a very quiet system in pretty much all the gears. And as I understand it, the chain has more room between it and the cog set, so there's less metal on metal rubbing. So that it is very quiet. It's the most quiet system I've ever used. It has the synchro shift now, where you can set it up so that when you shift the front derailleur from the big ring to the small ring, the rear derailleur will shift 2 gears at the same time to compensate for the change. You also have a phone app now where you can see the battery life, and it's how you set up the synchro shift. The phone app works very well, very easy to use. And one other factor that makes the bike drivetrain work better is that the front crank, the 2 rings, have less gears between the two. So when you shift the front derailleur from the big ring to the small ring, it just shifts easier. So there's just little bit less work. So when you put it all together, you have a system that's quieter, shifts cleaner, you have more gears, you got an integrated power meter. I think the system is awesome, and I'm extremely happy with my purchase. These are the Letke 8 zero gravity brakes. They come from Europe, and I was able to purchase them from Rent Science. They're supposed to be the lightest brakes in the world. They're made of carbon fiber. My hesitancy in buying these brakes is, do they work? Do they stop? But I thought I'd give them a shot with my new bike build, and I'm happy to report they work great. They are excellent brakes. They stop just as good as the SRAM Red. I don't see any difference in stopping power. So I can highly recommend these brakes. They also look cool. They're black, and they fit in with the black bike really well. Here's another view to show you how the brakes blend in with the black bike. Here's the bike on the scale. Let's see what it weighs. We're going to work our way up to the scale. We'll zoom in. 14.2 pounds. The previous bike was 14.66 pounds. So about almost half a pound lighter. The only difference is this has the SRAM AXS 12-speed, and it has the lightweight brakes. So in conclusion, if you are thinking of upgrading between the Red and the AXS, I think there is a pretty significant improvement. It may or may not be worth your while because it is an expensive group set, but if you love bike riding and that's all you do and you want the best, then I would go for it. I ended up selling my old group set to a friend for a fairly good price, and that helped pay partly for the new group set. So I am very, very happy with this group set.